Usually takes a second.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Do you want to unmute us?
Do I unmute on there or on do you?
Oh, no,
unmute?
Stephen, can you hear us?
Or you sure can.
Okay.
We're about the pet cemetery, so you guys are good.
Perfect.
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to be here?
Yep, we've got that speaker there that,
Oh, okay, I was like, I see it. Okay.
yeah.
So I will call the meeting to order. And Debbie, can you do roll call, please?
Okay, it's 5:32. All right, Chair Christine Adams.
Present.
Mark Husbands.
Present.
Monica Johnson is not present. Karen Miller, she got stuck at work, so. Cody Phelps.
Present.
Stephen Young.
Present.
Councilmember Jim Woodward.
Present.
We have Inglewood School Liaison Gary Manfrey.
Present. That's what.
Excuse. I don't know, yeah, that one. Excuse, we have Vice Chair Kate Truesdale and also Karen Miller, excuse. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill.
Present.
Manager Open Space Adrian Torres.
Present.
And that's it. Did I get everybody?
I believe so. And then just approval of the minutes. They're pretty brief, but if anybody has any changes, if not, I'll call for a motion.
All right, do you guys want me to share screen with the agenda and minutes and that? Or does
I'd
everybody
appreciate it.
have-
I can only get about half the time on the video.
Okay.
And I apologize for not being there, but this prevents me. So,
Fine.
He's hungry.
Yeah. He's so big. In a good way. Okay, so, minutes.
I'll move the minutes from August 11.
Great, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Perfect.
Thank you.
I don't believe we have public comment.
Correct.
And then new business is our intro.
Yeah, so as you all know, Dave Lee retired as the open space manager, and we were happy that Adrian was interested, and he interviewed and did a great job, and he is now our new open space manager. So Adrian, you want to give a little back history of you're not really new to Inglewood?
Sure.
Okay.
So I graduated from UNC with a Parks and Rec degree with a biology minor. Interviewed all over the place and Inglewood gave me a chance. So 21 years later, here I am with you guys. So I started in ball fields, did that for a lot of years, and then moved to irrigation. Then moved up to like the irrigation lead and then the park supervisor. It's hard to believe, but the open space manager. So I'm excited to be here, and we're gonna do a lot of fun things together. So
Cool. Very nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, congratulations.
thank you.
Old business. I will pass it over to one of you two.
Yeah, so I'll have Adrian go over. We have everything on here?
I
No.
got everything.
You got everything?
Yep.
Take it away.
Okay, I'll start with Cushing. The skate park, all the dirt work is done. They're probably 45% done with the concrete. So they're pouring, well, they have been pouring over there daily. If you guys haven't been by, it's really cool. So the half pipe is supposed to be delivered tomorrow or Tuesday. So that we should see that soon. The irrigation is ongoing over there, so they're getting close. They're doing soil prep this week and hopefully sodding next week. They're hoping to have this sod down for, we have a Homeless Connect event coming up. So they're hoping to be done with the sod and be ready for us for that event. They're pouring footers for the shelter this week. Mid-September, they're hoping for the delivery of the shelter and the restroom over there. We closed old skate park Wednesday, and they demoed it. It's gone, so they demoed it pretty quick.
Our plan wasn't to close it before we reopened, but just due to scheduling and wanting to get this park ready to reopen, it unfortunately had to close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and our exercise equipment, outdoor exercise equipment, we should start seeing that take place tomorrow and hopefully this weekend. They're hopefully gonna be done by Monday or Tuesday with that. So we'll have our outdoor exercise equipment in the east side of the old skate park is where the footprint for that will be.
And we're gonna keep that closed until we'll probably do a soft opening later this month and then a ribbon cutting as part of we'll talk about our next meeting, possibly do it as part of that.
Okay. But you know that those moms are gonna take that down, right?
Fences don't work.
Yeah,
Fingers
just a
crossed.
heads up.
So that's Cushing. Centennial, they're pouring over there daily too. I don't know if you've been by Centennial, but they have like the outside of the playground is taking shape, the basketball court. So it's starting to, you can start to see what it's gonna look like, which is exciting. They're working on the stairways this week over there. They're gonna start doing the irrigation and the dirt work and stuff once they're done with Centennial. Cushing, I'm sorry. So once they're done at Cushing, they're gonna move over to Centennial and start doing the irrigation and the dirt work. Let's see.
Jim had a question about Cushing, if we can just go back.
Sure.
I'm Cushing on the metal pipe that we took down. Were we gonna save that or save parts of it?
So,
Incorporate it?
we were gonna try to.
Okay,
Due to the fact that last year some students painted art on the half pipe. But unfortunately, what was this last week? One of the sides got tagged pretty significantly.
okay.
I'll show you a picture. It's not a bad tag. I'm like, where's this artist at? But when they went to take down the rest of it, it kind of just fell apart. So we've decided to scrap it and not save it. So you can pass this around. But this was what they tagged on one side of the pipe. It's not horrible.
No,
No.
it's kind of cool.
I mean,
I sent the picture to Christine. I'm like, the tags are expired.
yeah.
That is interesting.
It's kind of cool wayfinding for the park, but we did demo. It is no longer.
Yeah, I mean, double entendre there, but
Yeah.
Somebody does all that at night, in one night?
Oh, okay, yeah, go for it. So it was interesting. Our city manager goes, "Could we remove it? Like restore to the previous?" I'm like, it was so far tagged that there was no removing that art, if you want to call it that.
You guys see that?
It only got displayed, I think, for a week before it was completely removed.
okay, sorry.
Oh, good.
Good question.
So back to Centennial, unfortunately, playground equipment is delayed. So they told us delivery for playground equipment for Centennial and Baker will be February.
Initially, it was supposed to be in 6 months. They placed the order back in February or March, so it should be arriving right now. But they said shipping delays and other issues have caused it to not be out until February. The problem is, and he'll give an update on Baker, both playgrounds at Centennial and Baker were removed in anticipation of the equipment coming, and they got a late update on that. So unfortunately, no playground equipment for a little bit.
Is that coming internationally or is
I
that?
believe so. So from what I know from many playground companies, they get the pieces, the big metal pieces in from China or other locations, and they get shipped, and then they process it here to make it what you see when it gets installed. So a lot of our steel still comes from overseas.
So for Baker, as Christina said, that all they've really done is remove the playground equipment and the pea gravel from the playground. It's fenced off. The boulders for the border of the playground have been delivered. So Baker they'll do last. Having said that, when the restrooms and shelters come in sometime in September, they're hoping to do all of them within the same week or so.
Cool.
So there will be that over there at Baker. Want me to do the plaza now, or should I wait for the parks update?
You can do it now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the plaza, the duck pond, the plaza pond, whatever, it's got a lot of different names, but the trash rake should be done this week. I don't know if you guys have been by there, but it looks like a huge grill. There's, it's interesting, but they should finish the Boulder Placement this week. They're working on the sandstone steps that kind of come from the 285 side from the path down to the creek. So they'll be doing that next week on the sandstone steps. Also next week, they're gonna start putting the sod. I don't know if anybody's been down there, but that's kind of the only section that doesn't have sod yet. So they're waiting to put the steps in, and then they'll do the sod. So hopefully that'll be all done next week. And they're hoping to be done in the next couple weeks and have the punch list done and be out of there. So that one looks cool too. I mean, there's a lot of new trees in the stairway and all kinds of stuff. So
Cool.
go check it out.
What's nice with that one, like this is phase 1 of potentially phase 2, 3, more to come. But it's phase 1 finish, usable. We can then shut it down again for phase 2 and then
Yeah.
for phase 3. So it's nice it'll be usable, not waiting for phase 2 to come along because the money's not quite there.
Yeah. That's nice.
So that's what I got on our renovations.
Yeah, that'd be fun to activate that space for like a little bit.
Yeah,
And I think that will help alleviate some
hopefully.
issues, yeah. Great, I guess, does anybody have any questions on those before we move on to park updates? Okay, park updates.
Well, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Christina and I went to council Tuesday night, and the Jason fence got passed, so we're gonna have a permanent fence starting next Tuesday. We'll start getting that installed to separate the athletic field and the front section of that. So we're gonna have 2 10x10 gates and an additional pedestrian gate. So there'll be a gate from the playground, a gate so you can do a loop from the parking lot. Then we'll have 2 10-foot gates so we can get equipment in and out. And then there's another gate towards the north side. So you can open the gates and do a walk and do a loop.
Was there any pushback from the community on that vote? I apologize. I missed the video for that. I wasn't sure if Inglewood Unleashed showed up and had similar objections as to last time when we tried to put the permanent fence in there.
Inglewood Unleashed is actually pretty supportive of this. Others that were on the focus group back when we were doing the focus group have still been fighting the fence. But the ordinance did get updated and passed, and so the fence is going in. One discussion that we've had, Adrian and I, is potentially in the future with all this turf reduction and House bills that are going through to reduce turf, put in native. We have talked about, and it's expensive, but it could be an option to put in a synthetic turf field. So this fence actually could help us and be different uses down the road. So there's a lot of moving parts. This fence, I think people won't notice it in time. The fence that went in at Duncan and then the existing fence adjacent, I don't personally notice it when I go out there. I think you get used to it after a while. And they're black, so they kind of blend into the landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm questioning on those 10-foot, 2 10-foot gates. Don't you have to be pretty darn level to make sure you can even open something 10 feet?
Yeah, we got a good fencing contractor that'll take
Yeah,
care of
good.
it, make sure it's right. So we've been very
I have
happy.
a problem with a 3-foot gate
Yeah.
For sure.
digging out
Same.
dirt.
Yes. So that'll start next Tuesday. We were also there for the Bates Logan grant. We got awarded $500,000 from Arapahoe County. And that was the first reading, and council approved that as well. So once that gets through, we'll move forward with the RFP and get a contractor hopefully by the end of the year so we can keep moving forward at Bates Logan.
Now, was 500 going to be the full need for the renovation of Bates Logan, or were you guys still looking for a future budget?
That was gonna be phase one. So
Okay.
what that includes is the restroom, a new restroom and a new pavilion.
Okay.
And we had a match to that too, which was just under 300,000 matching. So the full project is just under $800,000 to complete phase one.
Do we have I apologize if you went over this at a meeting I was not at, like a plan, a site plan for that?
We do, yeah, we can send it out to you.
That'd be great.
Next week, Debbie can send it out. But yeah, so we did do the public meeting way back when. It got great feedback on what the future of that park could look like.
Yeah.
We have talked, we'll do another public meeting for phase two before we start writing that grant to make sure that's still in line. If weather holds out, we may just do it at the park to get those residents that are nearby to make sure the playground equipment, which was kind of nature themed, was what was selected. Initially is still kind of what everybody wants,
Yeah.
and other improvements that they may want to see before we go after maybe another $500,000 grant, which would be great to get. So.
Yeah. And I always talk about this, so again, I apologize, but nature theme is great with me, but if we could incorporate some nature play aspects as
Yes.
well, that would be great.
That was kind of what the theme is.
Okay, cool. I was
Using the hillside for a slide or a little climbing wall.
Perfect. Thank you.
The playground equipment would be, looks like a tree house or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
The one thing we do want to kind of stay away from is the engineered wood. A lot of cities have done that, and there's some fears of splinters and it wearing down in time, so it'll probably be the plastic look. Plastic's not the right term, but
Yeah.
yeah, for just consistency and longevity of the playground will last a long time.
Cool, thank you.
So Roman's path, that would be the east side of the park is still asphalt. So we have a bid out right now that closes Tuesday as well. Tuesday's a busy day for us, but to do that side in concrete. So hopefully we'll get that done, and then that whole park will be, the path will be new. We'll have the new restroom and the playgrounds, and so that'd be nice to get that part completed.
Cool. Questions? Okay, just keep on rolling. Bellevue Park Community Meeting.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, we had a community meeting in partnership with the police department and code enforcement. And then Adrian and I were there to talk about park issues. This was in response to a recent shooting that occurred just north of the softball field there. And the neighbors had come to council with some ideas of closing the Chenango lot and possibly more lighting and ways to improve safety in the park. And so we went out and met with the neighbors. We did a follow-up survey with the neighbors that did attend. I think they forwarded it on to others that they knew of in the neighborhood to get some feedback on what they wanted to see. And so some of the questions revolved around landscaping, and it was interesting. Not the majority, but a larger majority of all that had completed the survey didn't really want to see too many changes to the landscaping at Bellevue, which is good. A lot of people like that nature look versus the clean, cut-up look. The Chenango lot, the majority wanted to have that reopened with park hours being when it would be open. We did ask for volunteers that may help us close the lot at 11 p.m. because we don't have staff on, so we'll also rely on PD. The plan, we meet tomorrow morning with the police department to kind of talk through some of the survey results and next steps in the plans, but the hope would be to reopen the Chenango lot probably by the end of the month, and then utilize PD and officers that may patrol that area and then close it at night to keep people from parking RVs and just hanging out there in the evenings. Lighting was another issue. Solar path lighting was desirable. And so Adrian's been reaching out to some companies to get some quotes. He's worked with Aurora Parks and Rec because they've done a lot of solar in their parks to get some costs. It's not cheap, but definitely something. And I've heard, received emails and calls like, can you add more lights in our park, in our neighborhood park to make it feel safe and bright at night? And solar may be the way to go. While it's more expensive, the infrastructure doesn't have to be in place with the utilities. So it's a little cheaper than in the long run for that sort of thing. What else was on that survey? That was kind of the big bulk. Oh, signage. And we did ask like what type of signage, because everybody's like more signage, and it's like, well, what does that mean? We can put park rules everywhere, but will somebody really read them? And so they broke down kind of what signage they want to see, like no parking on the north side of the softball field after park hours, because neighbors said people just go park there, and that's kind of where the shooting occurred, is with the meetup. It's not going to stop people, but at least it can be enforced. Posting like no overnight parking signs, which we've started to do in this RTD lot over here, over at Centennial Park as well, and we'll also implement that in the Chenango lot as well. We'll probably see no overnight parking in many of our facilities, like the ERC has people that park overnight. We recently had an RV just show up and park, and PD, I think, questioned and possibly took away a few of the people that were there. So putting more signage up for no overnight parking, it helps with enforcement.
Christine, is that as far as the proposals have to run back through council for funding, or are you guys able just to do that kind of spur of the moment for?
It's gonna, like the signage, we can do it without any issues. The solar lighting, depending on, that's a long pathway through Centennial. So depending on what those costs come in, we may have to go before council with the contract. We do have some money in our CTF funds, an open space fund that could be utilized for something like this if needed. It really just comes back to, I mean, if it's $500,000 to do this, we'll have to make a decision as a city, can we afford it? Do we just kind of put spontaneous lights throughout the pathway versus consistent pathway lighting? The one request that was made of one of the neighbors at least was to change the park hours to sun up to sundown. That becomes a little bit more challenging, especially with Bellevue Park, because it has a pathway and some people use that as a commuter path. So in the evenings in the winter, people may be commuting at 7 p.m., but technically the park may be closed.
Yeah.
So they're illegally trespassing in the park. So there's some logistics with that doesn't really make a ton of sense to change the park hours for one specific large park.
Yeah, and canine corral, I think you'd have a real problem there.
For sure, yeah, people try to get out there in the mornings and
Yeah.
evenings, so. We did not ask that question on the survey, and I think there was one comment like, why didn't you ask this question? It's like, because there's definitely a lot more logistical challenges to changing park hours.
Yeah.
And I would say probably 99 to 100% of the Front Range parks are 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that the no overnight parking is just gonna be at that RTD lot next to Cushing, right? Not the large one. Not the large lot.
The big lot is actually where the no overnight parking has been placed due to RVs parking there.
So
The
like,
entire RTD lot.
The big one, yeah.
but I mean like,
What if you travel?
yeah, like
You're
as
gonna
a,
go catch a flight at DI.
yeah, that's my question is like, per RTD rules, you can park there overnight, you know, to
I don't think we have over here at the parking garage, I don't think those signs exist, no overnight parking, but just that lot, they were having issues with large RVs.
I totally get it. I'm
parking
just
for longer.
thinking about like commuters, like
Sure.
using it for its intended purpose.
Right.
I definitely parked there overnight when I took a 24-hour flight or something.
Sure.
So.
And there's new rules too with towing. I think it's a minimum 24-hour notice. So they post on your vehicle's gonna be towed. I
Mhm.
mean, you can always leave a note too, but that's
Right.
weird. You probably don't wanna do that, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get your concern.
Yeah.
That was more on the PD side and that request, not necessarily parks, but
I
we're starting to
get
see
it.
the requests come up, especially like at Centennial, code enforcement was asking for us to put up signs because people are parking their RVs or sleeping in their cars overnight, and we don't want that in our parks. We want to keep it safe, and not that they're doing anything wrong per se, but we don't want
And
people in
that's why
parks.
they're parking there, is because it is safe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sure.
they feel that it's
Yeah.
safe.
sure. And there's other places they can park, and we prefer it not to be in our parks.
Is there a way we could, sorry, I'm gonna like, I really need to think about this. Is there a way we could like have folks like, you know, in some lots, like the Colorado lot, you can only park for 24 hours before you have to pay. Is there a way we could work with RTD or, you know, us where somebody could register to be like, I'm gonna be here for 3 days or something like that?
Yeah, we can, I'm assuming yes. I know in my last city, like, we had people that asked if they could park, because we had a transit system nearby, and they would call the city, and then PD would take it down that license plate was gonna be there for a
Yeah,
certain
that's
amount of
what I
days.
was
We had city
wondering.
staff that would leave their cars there for a trip they were going on or
Yeah.
whatever. And so it was just reported to the police department that this car is legitimate.
Yeah.
To be here, so that might be an option too.
Okay, that would make me feel
Let us know if you're gonna park your car there in long term.
thanks.
Yeah, we won't tell you.
Thanks.
Or leave us your keys, we'll keep moving it.
Yeah, that's definitely fine. Great, thank you. Let's see. Romans, Bellevue, anything else on Bellevue?
That was kind of the majority of, like I said, we'll meet tomorrow. Next steps, we'll keep you updated if we're gonna do some improvements over at Bellevue Park, so. Right now, it's all preliminary, we're still working out the logistics.
We have got some small wins with some vegetation and stuff like that, so we've done some things down there.
The Inglewood, trimming up some of the bushes that are right off that parking lot.
Great, any questions? Okay, let's move on to Homeless Connect.
So I'll start with this one, you can fill in.
Fill in, okay, you got it.
So as of today, we have 39 different vendors for our
Resources,
homeless, for our Homeless Connect event. So it was very successful last year. So we're excited to grow this event. So we're going to do it at Cushing, at the same place, not the same place, but at Cushing like we did last year. We're going to move it out to the soccer field, and we'll have tents and vendors and resources kind of in a U shape for now, where we can walk around and give whatever they need from there. So it's we were hoping the restroom would be open, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. We are going to have a shower and laundry van. So we're able to work with our contractor out there and get hookups for that unit. So they'll be able to do showers and laundry and stuff out there. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's where at Cushing?
Cushing,
Yep.
29, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're interested in volunteering, reach out to myself or Debbie and she can give me the information. But yeah, it's Paul Mitchell, the school, is gonna be out there giving haircuts. It's a free event, so anything somebody may need will be there. DMV is gonna be there getting IDs. The course will be there doing some warrant forgiveness. That's what they call it. But yeah, it's gonna be a good event. Last year, I think a lot of people benefited from it. We like to do it towards the end of the season, end of the summer season, as we start to enter the colder months. The Severe Shelter Network will be there. Hotel vouchers, things like that would be available to at least get on the list, so.
What do you do to get that information into the homeless community then?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our park staff have had flyers, and so when they see somebody they may think may benefit from this, they've passed them out. We've worked with the police department's heavily involved, the co-responders who respond to a lot of the calls involving individuals experiencing homelessness. They usually come out, like our library has a lot of those calls where we want to get people resources. They're not getting arrested just for being there. And so they've been sharing information. I was surprised last year because that was my concern. It's like, how do we, some people we tried to give the flyer to and they were insulted and mad at us. It's like, okay, sorry. But some of those people did show up. So I think word of mouth also is another way it gets out. And we are giving away free food. So there'll be clothing and food, and the showers are huge, and a haircut. I think potentially a dentist or dental school may be coming as well. They're also working to get veterinarian care, so at least the dog can be looked at, or their pet, potential rabies shots, those sort of things. So a lot of resources across the board will be available.
Do we still have the camps that used to be at the golf course?
Not so much. We have more individuals now camping around that area. Parks just had a couple camp cleanups recently.
It's more the interchange and the native area at Cushing is where we see, and Bellevue, the native area at Bellevue is where we get the majority of them. So the golf course, not a lot anymore. It's more those three areas where we get the majority of them.
Remember when we looked at that before River Point?
Oh,
And they had golf ball addresses on the trees for some of their lean-tos and stuff. It was like,
Wow.
wow. It's pretty amazing. That was 2004, I think.
Creative.
or 5.
It really is a cool event, so if you guys can make it out, one of the cooler times in my career was out there last year. One of the guys, I just gave him some socks, and he looked at me and started tearing up and said, "God bless you." So it's really cool.
Socks are a big deal. Yeah.
It's a cool deal.
That's very neat. Thank
Right,
you.
when is that?
Thursday, September 29th, 10 to 1.
Perfect. Any questions on that or anything else? All right, let's move on. I don't know if this is an acronym or if I just say
Arapahoe
the
County.
letters, so.
Surprise.
Should I sound this out or?
Say it like a word.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Christine and I, and is it just the two of us?
I think it's just the two of us.
Are gonna go out to Arapahoe County. It's their annual ceremony for our Shareback funds it's the Arapahoe County open space. So I'm excited I get a big check.
Literally a big check.
I got one in my office already. I'm excited to
6 feet
decorate my
long.
walls with these big checks. But we're gonna be out there tomorrow for that.
Yeah, and that's another $1 million plus from Arapahoe County as part of the Shareback that we get, that we can utilize. I think it's kind of funny, but it's great that like our match money that we use for the Arapahoe County grants is their money technically.
We get money from them, then we match it.
Yeah.
With their money. But it's great. I mean, we, as a city, would not be able to do these improvements without this program
They
in
hit the tax
place.
base.
Yeah, it's great. And that sales tax, a quarter cent sales tax is now an indefinite thing.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful for Inglewood. I mean, we talk about going for a bond if we're not successful in that. This money, at least we know, will be consistently hopefully coming in. If it's $1 million plus or a little less, we can budget for that and plan specific projects around that. So it's a really cool program. We're lucky to have that.
So just as an example, that's what the funds we're using for Romans concrete to finish Romans out. It's from the Shareback Arapahoe County funds.
Nice.
That is also kind of open to everybody here, right? I mean, that ceremony, or not ceremony, I think is it still a luncheon and stuff?
It is. Last year it was a breakfast. This year it's a luncheon. I think it's at Greenwood Village at one of the locations down there this year. But yeah, in the future, if anybody wants to come with us, get lunch and a big check.
The check is mine. So okay.
Except we're going to the bank right after the lunch is done. Yeah.
Had a real nice walking stick one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, when we had South Platte Working Group and stuff and doing all these stuff along the Platte,
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
they were handing out walking sticks to everybody.
That's a kind of a cool idea.
That's cool.
Same here. I'm PRLG.
Parks, Recreation, Library, Golf. Yep. So we have the Inglewood Market Series on April 9th. Oh my gosh, no, that's not the right date. It's coming up on September 17th. 17th. I don't know how I got April in my notes. Geez, we're here in September. Mally's having a couple events this month. There's a symposium for senior safety. And then that's happening on the 21st. It's a Wednesday. And then the Oktoberfest lunch, if you're interested in that, that's on the 29th. It'll be the same day as our Homeless Connect event. And then just mark your calendars. The Trunk or Treat event is coming up on October 22nd as well. And that will be here at the back parking lot at the second floor of the parking structure. So hopefully you made it out to the block party. I've been hearing rumors and comments from people that were there that it was one of the best ones Inglewood has held in many years, and it was well attended. At one point, we were checking IDs for the alcohol wristbands. I think we weren't even halfway through and 8,800 IDs had been checked. That's a lot. Because there's kids that count them and they're not getting their IDs checked. So yeah, it was a really good event. Did anybody, I know Woodward was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was great. And I liked the concept of, like, instead of doing, even though it benefits a nonprofit, the beer sales would, but allowing like the businesses to have their own especially because it brings businesses from off the 3400 block to be able to
Correct, yeah.
participate as well. So I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, and I know that businesses were extremely happy with that, and we'll have a follow-up meeting to get their true feedback afterwards, but they were very busy all night long.
And maybe add next year, and I can tell whomever this, but like more vendors. I mean, like if you have a couple drinks, people are gonna buy something,
That is true.
you know?
I know Tony works hard, she's our event
Yeah.
coordinator, to get the vendors out there, and there are challenges with sales tax and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that last minute, but we had a good amount of food trucks, and the layout I liked a lot better this year. Unfortunately, we had kind of a microburst right at the beginning of the event, which was rain and winds, and we had these cool umbrellas, tables set up, and those all had to come down because of that, but definitely we were headed in the right direction with setup this last year. And Parks was heavily involved with that, so the Parks crews are the ones that get up there, set it up and break it down.
Great. Any other questions on those updates? Super. Staff's choice.
Do you have any
I
other?
don't have
Nothing.
anything.
So we do have some department changes in the works. With Dave Lee retiring, we have some salary savings, and so we're getting closer to making this happen, but we are looking to recruit a deputy director that would oversee the Parks and Recreation side of the departments, and that would be an internal posting for that. So that means we potentially could promote up to 3 people with that if everybody kind of bumps up. So that's going to be happening in the near future. So we'll be introducing hopefully a new deputy in the next couple months.
That's great. Anything else?
That's all.
All right. Commissioner's choice. Steve, do you have anything?
I got nothing.
All right. Gary, do you have anything? Perfect. Cody, do you have anything?
Just reiterate, Block Party.
Sorry, I couldn't make it tonight.
No worries.
Block Party was great. I was impressed with how quickly it all was set up since it's on Broadway and you know, you couldn't shut down until a certain point. And, so that was great. I love the layout, great attendance, food, all the alcohol. The state festival alcohol permit is super handy. I do like that change they made, and it's going to make things a lot easier. So it was a fun event. My first time going, and can't wait till next year.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, I have a question. Halloween, what are we doing or?
That'll be the trunk or treat event. So October 22nd, it'll be in the evening hours back here where we had it last year.
Yeah, okay.
You want a trunk? You gonna bring one out?
You want some
My
candy?
trunk?
What's the
Oh, you want
treat?
candy?
Truck.
Yeah.
We are recruiting, so if the commission wants to do a trunk, let us know.
No, I got some email from somebody that, it sounded like a scam or something. They are having a big garage sale and, you know, they wanted to make Inglewood Recreation for their Halloween event.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and it was like, and it was from Dale. And
We don't know a deal.
Dale?
Oh,
And-
Dale.
Yeah,
That day I was looking for him.
yeah, and then I was looking, trying to check out, well, where is this guy? Who is this guy? He's from some, I don't even recognize where he said he was, the community he's having the garage sale in. So maybe it's Inglewood, New Jersey, or Florida, or
Yeah.
Weird things like
Chicago
that.
or something.
Could be.
Wasn't us.
Yeah, but I didn't want to respond to it. I just felt like, ooh, this just doesn't feel. good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's follow your gut on those. They're
Yeah,
sometimes
totally.
wrong. Yeah.
Anything else, Jim?
That's all I have, thanks.
Mark?
Nothing from me, thanks.
I don't have anything either. So unless there are more comments or questions on anything, I'm just gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Perfect. So adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Yeah.
See you.
All right.
Y'all have a good evening.
See you, Gary.
Yep, bye, Gary.
Mark, can you just hit the red phone in the bottom right corner?